So hi everyone, we're here with Gustavo. He is the technical responsible for support and service in Latin America. Is that fair?
Correct, yes.
Perfect. So our goal today is to cover the whole Shining 3D portfolio, at least part of it that we have here. And we're always going to touch on 3 topics when we're talking about the products. So each product, we're going to talk who is it for, so who's the ideal customer or who's the usual customer of each of those solutions here. Number 2, what is the technology behind it and how it differentiates from others. And number 3, how each solution fits inside Shining 3D's portfolio. So Gustavo, I don't know if you want to make a quick introduction. How long have you been working? Tell us a little bit about the story behind Shining 3D, and then we go for the products.
Okay, so as you mentioned, I'm the support supervisor for LATAM, and I've been with Shining for 2.5 years right now, and it's been quite a journey, to be honest.
Okay.
Because when I joined, we didn't have the Elite, for example, we didn't have the Lync. We had the Aoralscan 3, which was our first, flagship scanner that put Shining in the spotlight. And right now, Shining, it's been 20 years since it was officially the first year of Shining. We've transitioned from industrial scanning to dental technology, and that's quite good. Actually, something that we put into the Elite, for example, a little bit of industrial scanning, making it small and put it into dentistry.
You mentioned one thing, that the Aoralscan 3 was the first flagship scanner from Shining that put Shining 3D on the map.
Yep.
And being on the other side of the industry, that is 100% true. I have my opinion on why that happened. I want to hear from you first. Why do you think the Aoralscan 3 and not the Aoralscan 2 was the flagship scanner, the scanner that really put Shining 3D as a scanner provider?
Aoralscan 2, in my opinion, was a little bit clunky. It was slow, it was heavy, it was big. The software itself is something that improved a lot as well. In 2023, when I joined, right before we had a huge jump into software, because we introduced the modules, we had the Cree temp to design crowns, to ortho simulation, designing splints and everything. So both the scanner itself, the device, and the software altogether made it so we have a good scanner to compete with the big brands, let's say.
And I have just one thing to add: really, really competitive pricing. I think that was the main thing. And of course, when you tie that with the software developments that you had, it is what it is. So now let's jump into each product. Let's start with the most basic one, and we're going to move up. Remembering those 3 questions, we're going to talk first about the Aoralscan Lync. First of all, who is this scanner for, in your point of view?
Entry level, so if you're tight on budget, that's a good option for you. If it's your first scanner, it's a great option as well. So basically, in Brazil, we're developing the market. Actually, it's not we don't have many people using scanners. I think it should be around 15% at max.
Just that?
Of dentists that do have a scanner. It's growing fast, but still quite low number. And the other option in Brazil as well is labs, that they just want to provide the scanner to doing scan service as well. So that's a good option for the Lync.
Nice. Question number 2, what are the main technologies behind this, both on the hardware side and on the software side? What do you think makes this an affordable option? At the same time, why is this an entry-level scanner? Let's say that.
Basically, the software is entry-level, so you don't have modules to design your own crowns, your own splints, your own models, for example. And some other functions, like the extra mesh that we use, for example, to scan another aligned mesh together with another case. For example, you want to send a crown that you want the lab to use the anatomy for. You don't have that with the Lync. The technology behind it, let's say scanning technology, is pretty similar to the other scanners. So it's structured light. You do have the same accuracy as the other scanners doing these normal workflows. It's a capable scanner, saying accuracy-wise, but software-wise, it's more simple.
So basically, if we break it down, this scanner here is for the doctor that wants to scan and send it out to the lab.
Perfect.
Right? He doesn't want to do any kind of chairside, not anything like that. If we move up from here and we want something for chairside, what would be the logical option here?
Okay, so mid-level, what we have would be the Aoralscan 3 in Brazil, or ELF, for thinking LATAM then, which is the scanner that will have, again, good accuracy and the full software option. So we have our new IntelliByte function that helps getting a good bite register as well, which is a pain for a bunch of other scanners and clinicians all around. So that would be like a second level or mid-level scanner.
Nice. Final question: how does this fit inside the Shining 3D portfolio? Would you say this is the first option? Like this is the very basic one, and here up.
Correct.
Perfect. Now before we talk about the Elite, let's talk about the facial scanner. Same questions. Who do you think this scanner is for? Like, what is the ideal customer? What is the usual customer? Let's say. What is the technology behind it? What can we use it for? Because this has, I think, a lot of not so obvious usages. And how does it fit inside the whole portfolio?
Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff with the MediSmile now because we do have the jaw motion modules as well.
Okay.
So talking about entry-level MediSmile is mostly for aesthetics. So we can do, the way that I usually explain this is that the entry-level MediSmile does anything that's static, that doesn't have motion. So you can face scan, you can align your intraoral scan to it, and then you can do DSD because you have an embedded DSD module inside the software.
Nice.
Second thing, you can get like straight up kind of like cephalometric measurements. So you have like thirds of the face and everything all together in the software. So basic for that. So this is one of the options. The second one that we see as a market is for LATAM. Again, thinking LATAM is for the imaging clinics. So you have the clinics that do X-rays, that do CBCT, and they can add this to their portfolio, so they can offer this to the clinician. So the dentist can receive a complete diagnostics, because right now you don't have it. Like some CBCT machines can do this, but not with the same accuracy as well, because this is 50 micron accuracy, which differs a lot from other technologies. Let's say some people use the phone to scan, but then you get like 2 millimeters off, and it doesn't really fit.
And you mentioned one thing that I just want to get clear, because I don't know this. When you buy a facial scanner like this, you have two options of software, or does it all come, like you have one option to buy, it always comes with the complete software?
You have the base one, as I said. And then you go to the jaw motion module.
Perfect.
Then you have like you can do exography graphs, you can do like positioning into the articulator automatically, you can determine the video automatically as well, all through the software. That's the jaw motion things.
You mentioned the jaw motion, and I think this is a good way to kind of jump into the next product and answer the last question at the same time. I see a lot of ways that you can use this with other products inside Shining 3D's portfolio. How do you think this integrates with a Shining Elite, for example?
Some useful things, as I said, you can determine the video, and that helps a lot when creating a full edentulous case. So let's say if you want to change you have a full denture. You have a full denture, and then you want to change that into an all-on-X. That's a good way that you can determine the video, and then combining with the photogrammetry technology, it gives you a good result. Other things, it's like to make your prosthetics last, because you can really understand how the bite is in the movements as well. Because with the intraoral scanner, even though our scanner and other scanners can capture dynamic bites, it's far from being as accurate as this. Like really, it's far from
for jaw motion.
Correct.
Awesome. And this is something I don't, talking about the LATAM market now. Having a all-on-X 100% digital workflow is really rare here. I think you will agree with me.
Yes.
Like fully
really
digital.
Rare.
In the US, we see more and more of that for sure, because we have a lot of jaw motions, and this part here that's solving the jaw motion, I think gives an opportunity for us to actually start doing full arches 100% digital. And I think that's really smart. Now let's jump into the Aoralscan Elite. It's probably the most talked about scanner over the last 2 years. Mainly because of the features it has. So let's go with the three topics. Who do you think this scanner is for? What is the technology behind it? And how does it fit inside the portfolio?
Perfect. So the first thing with the scanner is people that do all-on-X cases. So obviously, right? So if you don't do a lot of all-on-X, you have other options. And this is a big investment. We know, like Brazilian market is price sensitive, it's hard. And the second person that this could go to, or maybe the companies that go, is a lab. Because I've heard from labs that they don't accept, a bunch of labs don't accept digital workflows for dentistry, like for all-on-X. Because you got bad scans, you don't get good alignment, you do like a bunch of
back and forth. Yeah.
And this solves the problem. So I've heard from labs that they want to acquire this to be able to give their customers, and then they get a good result. So
Awesome.
it solves the problem really.
What is the technology behind it? Just if you can explain, because we talk about
Mhm.
photogrammetry.
Correct.
Everyone knows that photogrammetry is good. We just need to understand what is actually photogrammetry and what is the big thing about having photogrammetry inside an intraoral scanner.
So it allows you to have in vitro, for example, 5 micron accuracy on an alignment of all necks on top of the MUAs.
Okay.
But the idea behind photogrammetry is you have the dots on the scan bodies, and I've heard it, like this explanation from a colleague was amazing, is that the scanner is calibrating itself while scanning the scan bodies, because you
Okay.
have the positioning, like the geometric positioning or the 3D positioning of the dots in the scan bodies. We have a library of that, and then when the scanner scans those, it's actually kind of calibrating themselves.
Yeah, makes sense.
And if you look into calibrator for scanners, it's really like a bunch of dots, just like what we have. And this goes back to industrial scanning technology, as we were discussing before. Like when you have something that you have no reference of, you can just put the dots, then the scanner scans those, knows where they are, and then creates the mesh around it. So it's basically the same idea.
The whole idea behind this, then you're gonna have the scan bodies, the black ones with the white dots. I think that's pretty like it's almost a stereotype of when you talk about photogrammetry,
Yes.
black with white dots. Basically, what is happening, just correct me if I'm wrong, the scanner is taking a bunch of photos, a bunch of pictures, and the software is finding each dot on each picture and then matching it all together. Is that a fair assumption?
At some point, the software understands which scan body is being used and then replaces like with the mesh inside the software.
The 3D file, let's
the
call
3D
it.
file.
Awesome. And from there, you have the implant, the implant positioning. And from here, you have the implant libraries, the MUA libraries to use it afterwards.
Correct. And then this is the big difference from other like photogrammetry systems. Everything's in one software. So like you finish the scan, you click, okay, check, and then it already brings the scan body that you want to use.
Awesome. And this is compatible with all the major design softwares, right? So Exocad, 3Shape.
Correct. You can export directly, as I mentioned like before, the dental project file, imports with one click into Exocad.
Awesome. And let me ask you one final question. I don't know if you have that answer from inside Shining 3D. So I'll ask it in 2 point of views. Your point of view as engineer. What's your graduation?
Engineer.
You're as an engineer. What do you see in terms of future of dental technology overall? Where do you see the market going? And as Shining 3D, where do you see Shining 3D focusing at right now?
One thing that's growing fast is AI. Like everyone is using AI for a bunch of things, and we are not different. Like we do have a service in the cloud right now that can design a crown, for example, already, and this is expanding. Like we are expanding fast on that route, So this is, I think, is the main thing, right? Because if you look at scanners, taking aside this from All-on-X and edentulous cases, there are a lot of capable scanners. Like saying that you're accurate is not something different anymore. It's basic. If you don't have like minus 50 micron accuracy across an arch, you are not in the game. You can't sell a scanner.
Yeah.
So it's mainly software related, like what we're going for.
And actually, that's interesting because just before we got here, I watched an interview with at the Institute of Digital Dentistry, and I want to get this name right, so I'm not going to say it. And he was talking to a guy basically about the accuracy across all scanners. And like you said, when you take basic accuracy, any scanner, regardless the price, is accurate enough.
For normal cases.
For normal cases, of course. Of course, when you go to full arches, that episode specifically was not talking about full arches. But all the major differences now are software-based, not hardware-based. Right? And this is really interesting to see that pretty much every brand agrees with that. And I have a last maybe tricky question. We see a lot of discussion nowadays between photogrammetry and grammetry. The horizontal scan bodies. As an engineer, what is the big difference? And can you say that grammetry is accurate enough, or is it close to photogrammetry? I think that's an honest question to ask.
It's close.
It's close.
Let's be honest. Grammetry, in a way, it helps a lot with it already helps a lot with all next cases.
Okay.
I won't lie, I won't battle this. One of the things that especially in Brazil, the pricing of those grammetry kits, it's kind of the same as the photogrammetry. we get better results, like better accuracy with photogrammetry. It's easier to use in general, because with Grammetry, you need to tell your lab to use the said library in Exocad. You don't get like the place scan body. In some softwares, yes, most of them won't do that. Second thing that we have is the caps, because I didn't see any.
The caps.
The alignment one that's small, like hidden caps.
Okay, gotcha.
And that helps a lot, because when we launched the Elite, we didn't have that, and we saw like
you just had the big ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we do, and other brands don't. You know, the Grammetry kits, for example. This is something to note. So it's not that Grammetry doesn't help. You have good results. Okay, you do have studies that show that. Photogrammetry is always a little bit more accurate. The workflow-wise is a little bit easier.
Okay.
And then the pricing is similar. So like, why not use photogrammetry when you know?
I haven't thought about that. So basically, just to be clear for everyone, when we talk about grammetry, I'll make this maybe too simplified, but it's basically having horizontal scan bodies in a way that you don't have too much soft tissue in between implants. I think that's a really simplified way to explain it. But I've never heard anyone talk about the healing caps, not the healing caps, but the small ones. Never thought about that. And I didn't know the pricing was that similar, to be honest.
If you think like, again, we are talking about a, top level scanner, as you said, it's, elite level scanner. And so if you take the pricing from those scanners and then you add Grammetry on top of it, it's like 20,000, 30,000 like reais, one kit.
20,000, 30,000, just probably in the US, we're talking about maybe 1,000 to 2,000, something within that range.
Like that.
Yeah.
So, again, in my mind, it doesn't make sense to use Grammetry when you can use photogrammetry.
If we're talking to a doctor, right, starting out, just graduated, is tight on budget, but he wants to do full arches, he doesn't have the money for an Elite. Do you think it's a fair assumption to get a Aoralscan Lync or the ELF for that matter, and having one of those Grammetry kits up until the point where they can afford photogrammetry? Because the way I understood is you have, talking about different levels of accuracy, you have traditional scanning, Grammetry, and gold standard photogrammetry.
True.
Awesome. Okay. All right, Gustavo, thanks a lot. Really appreciate your time. I appreciate all the demo you did for us here. And hey, thanks.